Hey guys, my name is Gloria and welcome back to my channel and my October celebration videos. So today I have a pretty fun tag to do actually, so if you haven't done this tag, please feel free to jump in. I first saw it on Harpies In The Trees channel and it was created by the Royal Reader. And Harpies In The Trees, Murs over there, she made a small change to the way that she did it. So there are 10 questions in this particular tag and they all have a movie theme to them, but the answers should be books. But Murs did add in a movie or a TV show for each of her questions as well, and I thought that would be a fun thing to do. I watch far too many movies as it is, so I'm gonna do the same as that. So let's get started with the questions. I would also like to say thank you so much to Rachel over at Shades of Orange. You should absolutely be following her booktube channel if you're not already. A while ago she puts up videos every year sort of promoting other smaller booktubers, and about a month and a half ago, 2 months, she sent me an email and invited me to submit a clip for it. And not only that would be good enough, but she had to deal with my absolute complete inability to do anything technical whatsoever and messing around and trying to fix videos and edit videos, and then I deleted the video and then I had to redo the video and just absolute nonsense. So thank you so much for adding me in that video. I've definitely got a few more subscribers today, which is really fantastic. I really appreciate that, and it's such a great video. I'll link that video down below as well so you can go and check that out. And I definitely had some booktubers in there that I was not following, and my eye hurts, that I was not already following, so you should definitely go and follow everyone in that video because they've got some great content in there. So the first question is the zombie apocalypse. A book you would save when civilization ends. So the book for this particular one, I did have to think about it for a while, but I would save We Have Always Lived in the Castle. For a few reasons. I feel like I need to read it about 10 more times. I've only read it once, but I absolutely love it. I feel like in an apocalypse situation I could learn a lot from the main character, and I could take a lot of either real or imaginary tips from her in trying to keep myself and others safe, and possibly, you know, go the darker end of the spectrum if I needed to, just like she did. So, you know, but I would definitely love to bring that along to the end of the world. The movie, and I said this really, I've always loved this movie, but I recently watched it with my housemate. My housemate had never seen it before, and rewatching it again, like as a full adult and as someone who's really trying to analyze character and story and movies and whatnot, The Craft is just a great movie. The Craft is just, and it's so me as well. From a very young age I wanted to be a witch, so it was it's absolutely perfect for me, and it's something I would just like to really dive into. I think if the world ended, I would really go full pelt on the whole witch thing and just say screw it, nobody's even here to watch me, so do whatever I want. So question 2 is The Vampire, a book you would stake through the heart. I didn't really have to think too hard on this one. The book is Insomnia by Stephen King. I absolutely hated that book. It just, I mean, if you're suffering from insomnia like I do, it will put you to sleep. There were plot holes, didn't make sense, it was boring as all get out, and it just, I hated it. I hated every minute of it, and I would never read it again. So yeah, Insomnia is pretty bad. And not surprisingly, the movie I would pick for this one would also be a Stephen King adaptation, the Dreamcatcher movie. The book was so-so, it wasn't great for me, but the movie was just nonsense. It was just, it took the bare minimum things that I thought were good about the book and it completely ruined them in the movie. And yeah, so they can both get straight staked right through the heart for me. Question 3, The Haunted House, a book that still haunts you. So I think a recent read for me was Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Comes, and there's just something about that witch in the air balloon that just freaked me the hell out. I still think about her sometimes, just creeping over people's houses and marking them so she can come back and kill them later. So I think that's going to haunt me for a while, and I think I'll need to read that a couple of times again. A movie that continues to haunt me, Martyrs. I think I watched Martyrs when I was a teenager, and it's sort of universally known as a great horror movie, and it really is. It's brutal, but I think it's a great movie, and I will always be up for a rewatching of Martyrs. It really just gets, ironically, gets under your skin. Definitely recommend that if you're looking for a horror movie. The next one is The Psychological Thriller, a book with a twist that you did not see coming. For me, this one isn't a horror book, but I read it, I picked it up off the sorely missed book swap table at work, and it's called Ghost Moth, and I think because it wasn't in any way marketed as like a thriller or a dark book, I just kind of assumed that it was some sort of literary story of a woman's life and her disappointments and whatnot, but there's a twist in this that just smacked me right in the face. There's actually a couple of twists near the end that just almost gave me whiplash. I just wasn't expecting them from a book like this whatsoever, and I would have really liked the book anyway, but those two twists just really cemented it for me, so that is a great book and I would recommend. The movie with a twist that I was not expecting, I'm not going to say The Sixth Sense, but Youre Next is a great movie. I absolutely love it. There's an Australian actress in the main role for that, and it just sort of, it really subverted a trope that you weren't expecting it to subvert, and I loved it, and I do need to watch that again because I only watched that once and I need to watch that again. As a bonus for this one, a movie whose twist I didn't see coming and absolutely hated was The Boy. Just thinking about that movie makes me so angry. I was with that movie every minute. I thought, yeah, this is a decent movie, this is creepy, it's whatever, and then the twist at the end, just, if I had seen it in the cinema, I would have flipped my popcorn box and walked out. I was just real disappointed in that. So I don't know, I haven't seen the new The Boy, but I don't really trust it. I don't know what they're gonna do with the second one, who knows. Question number 5 is The Creepy Doll, a book that seems innocent but is not. So for this one, for the book, I'm gonna say Bunny by Mona Awad. I think there was some hype and some push for this book before it came out that other people saw, and I could see that some people were kind of disappointed with the way the book played out, but I had absolutely no idea about it. I had nothing to go on except for the back cover, which gives very little away. So when I read it and I was going along thinking, oh, it's like a literary kind of thing, okay, this is kind of funny, and I just was not expecting it to go as gruesome, as brutal as it did. So that, and given the main characters in the story and the title and the cutesy cover, I just wasn't expecting that at all. So that one definitely was a surprise for me. A movie, another recent rewatch of mine, again to show my housemate, he hasn't seen a lot of movies, was the newest Evil Dead, which came out a few years ago. I think it was because everyone kind of knows Evil Dead, and it's like a comedy horror slapstick kind of thing. I think I was kind of expecting them to try and remake it like that, but they really horrified it up, and they really went brutal and gross and scary and just really unsettling, and a lot of people don't like it, but I really like it. I really like the movie. I really like the main character in it as well, so that is a good one. A Dog Does Die. That's a real shame, but still a good movie. Question number 6, The Monster. So, a book you could barely tackle or defeat. I still have not finished One Door Closer to Heaven by Dune Keats. I don't know why my brain is like that. I haven't had any caffeine today, so I think maybe it's just my brain shutting down. One Door Closer to Heaven, or One Door Away from Heaven, I don't even know, I don't care, by Dean Koontz. Started it about a month and a half ago. I still have not finished it. The perfectionist, the finisher in my head really wants to finish it just to get it off my list, but it's gonna take me a while. I'm gonna read some books I actually enjoy before finishing that one. A movie I could barely tackle or defeat for me was Drive Me to Hell. I keep meaning to go back to it, but I just haven't. I watched it, I found the DVD in our house when I was like 10 or 11, and I was constantly watching any kind of movies back then, and it surprised me that I ejected it and was like, no, I'm not watching this. I think I only got through like 10 minutes because there's a part where at the very beginning this young woman is having a fight with a really old woman and her teeth fall out, and as a method of trying to attack her, she starts like gumming on her chin, and I noped right out of there. I wasn't gonna be dealing with that at age 11, but apparently a lot of people say it's good. So, and I really like Justin Long as well. I used to really fancy Justin Long, so I should have finished it, but I didn't, so I need to go back and watch that. Hopefully it's better than the Dean Koontz. Question number 7, a comedy horror. So a book with mixed genres that worked or didn't. A book for me, I chose Picnic at Hanging Rock for this. So Picnic at Hanging Rock is a literary novel, but it's sort of a literary mystery novel, but there's also real undertones. There's an undercurrent of paranormal. It's about these girls that go for a picnic at this rock in the Australian outback with their school, and they just disappear, and one of them eventually comes back with no memories whatsoever, or she's found near the rock, but they never discover what happened to the other girls. They never find any scrap of evidence to say that they were taken or they were hurt or anything, and I think it really mixed those well. It was quite unsettling and mysterious, and I quite enjoyed it. A movie that mixes genres, Poltergeist is an absolute favourite of mine. It's a Steven Spielberg movie. It's got your sort of your warm family kind of feel to it. It's got humour. I think it's hilarious. It's really dark and kind of heartbreaking as well. Great dog, doesn't die, so that's a good one. One that mixes genres that I did not like was quite a new film. It's called Underwater. Kristen Stewart's in it. They really messed up with that. It's sort of a sci-fi horror set underwater, and they just really messed up the characters. And there's one character played by TJ Miller who is supposed to be the comic relief, and it just doesn't work because they didn't set up the story at all. So he just jumps in the middle of this chaotic time when they're all trying not to die, and he's making these really unfortunate jokes that nobody's laughing at, and it just the comedy part in that just really didn't work for me. Number 8 is the cliched teen horror movie. So a book you find super cliched or stereotypical. I forgot to pick a book for this. I picked 2 movies and I forgot to pick a book. I'll tell you what the movies are. So I did not like Goodnight Mommy. A lot of people talk about it like it's the greatest thing ever, but I knew from the very beginning what the twist was. I don't know, if you see a lot of movies, you kind of catch on to these things. So I knew what the twist was, and it wasn't scary for me at all. I really didn't like it. Another one that Murs mentioned in her video that I absolutely had to agree with is also The Nun. They really messed up that movie. That could have been so good. It had such great visuals. it had such great visuals that I used it as a performance for one of my burlesque shows. Like, I love the nun is so creepy, and in the other movies she's so terrifying, but that movie was just nonsense, and it was not in any way scary at all, and it was just naff, to be honest with you. A book that I find really cliched, sort of weirdly enough, I really didn't like The Outsider by Stephen King. I kind of felt like it starts off with a very strange premise, so you would imagine that it wouldn't be cliched or anything, but the way that the story progresses and the way that the story ends, none of it was in any way surprising to me. It was all very sort of formulaic, and I just really didn't like it, so I think for that one I'm gonna have to pick The Outsider. Question number 9, The Demonic Possession, a book so gripping that you need an exorcist to escape it. So for this one, which I just finished and I'll be talking about in a video in a couple of days, it's out by Natsuo Kirino and it was translated from Japanese by Stephen Snyder. This is a thriller. It's about a woman who is at the end of her tether and she murders her husband, and the other women that she works with help her to cover up her crime, and that's the very beginning of the book, and it just goes on from there, and I was totally gripped from the outset. I was totally in there. It just keeps taking corners and turns and adding more things and more anxieties and more things to get tripped up on that I just was not expecting at all, and I was gripped in it for the whole time, and I'm dying to read more of Natsuo Kirino because that was just it was written so well, and it dealt with so many different characters and so many different motives and so many different characteristics and events, and it just all blended together so well, and I really enjoyed it. So I'll be talking a lot more about that in a new video coming up soon. A movie that I would need an exorcist to escape from, Nightmare on Elm Street, all of those movies, all of the Freddy Krueger movies. Been watching them since I was a kid, and they'll just never cease to make me laugh, absolutely terrify me, creep me out. I just love all of those movies, so Nightmare on Elm Street, definitely. And last but not least, the science fiction, a precious book that you would permanently sacrifice to aliens for the good of mankind. Again, I forgot to pick a book for this one. I'm going to say for the spooky season, I'm going to say Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I think she would like that. I think she was the type to want to save people and save mankind and take care of people. So Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. But first I would make people learn chapters by rote, so that we could then all learn it, and then we could all just tell it to each other instead. You can get around these things. A movie that I would sacrifice, this was a recent watch of mine. My boyfriend kept talking about it. It's based on a book by Carl Sagan, and it stars Jodie Foster. You gotta love Jodie Foster. And it's Close Contact. I think it's Close Contact. It's not called that at all. I think it's just called Contact. No, yeah, just called Contact. Contact, it's a sci-fi movie with heart, with some really fantastic cinematic shots, and it's got Jodie Foster. You can't go wrong with Jodie Foster. So yeah, that's definitely one that I would begrudgingly sacrifice to aliens if they didn't eat my brain. But that is the horror movie book tag. So thank you for the Royal Reader for coming up with it. Thank you for Murs from Harpies in the Trees for adding some movies to it as well, so that I could do the same. If you haven't done this before, please feel free to do it. You can let me know down below if you've done it, because I'd love to see more answers to these questions, more books and movies that I may not know about. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.